Good day, it's Tony Fortunato from the technology firm. Here we are. We are looking at the final test. We did two previous tests. We're testing this Ubiquiti 5-port EdgeRouter. And the first two tests, we actually used the NetScout Optiview XG to do some tests with it. Now we're moving on to Iperf. And we'll find out why in just a moment. So the goal for the people who hadn't seen the previous videos, I thought it'd be good to just kind of review. I was asked by a client to test these 5-port edge routers for various sites. The big requirement is one site has a 100 meg internet connection, the other one has less than 10, so we want to make sure the router gets at least more than that 100, right? And they're wondering what kind of throughput that we can get. Just because the ports are 1 gig doesn't mean you get a gig. You got to measure out, find out how the router is configured. That will affect your throughput with any router, not just Ubiquiti. And we found some information on the web. People used Iperf, some other packet blaster stuff, and guess what? They weren't clear on how they tested, what the packet sizes were, that sort of thing. That's why I like using the XG. And that way the XG, I would vary the packet sizes, but then I realized the XG actually used UDP, right? And that's the way NetScout does things. There's nothing wrong with that, it's just the way it does that. So I wanted to balance the tests out with TCP. And for the people who are familiar with Iperf, I only used one stream, right? Because with Iperf you can do multiple streams, parallel streams, that sort of thing. And I just did one stream. So for the people who want to just do their own slant on this, be my guest. You can do your own twists on the tests, and you can report your throughput results on the actual comment section as well. So first thing we do back-to-back tests, and we got two laptops here. We gave them two static IPs, and we just started one up as a server and the other as a client, and off we go to the races. This is important to do to make sure that the results are consistent, right? Make sure they're like, 850, 830, 860, that sort of range, as opposed to 820, 100, 800, that sort of thing. If you get those varied results, then something's wrong with the machine. It's got a lot of services, not enough memory, who knows? But try to stay away from that. Make sure the numbers are fairly consistent. So for the people who haven't used Iperf before, we just made one change, and that's this window size, -W65K, right? It's important to have that K in there. The default might be 8 or 2 or whatever it is on your system, just to make sure you've got that nice big number. Please put that in. And on the client side of things, we did the same thing as well, the -W65. And the -R just means reverse direction. So it goes up first and then down. And that's important to understand because Iperf does not tell you that. Lastly, I created this little batch file, and basically I put this little bit on the end of it, this pipe find /sec, and what that does is it just gives you the results of the throughput without having to see all the other text that Iperf gives you. All right, let's go on the results. So the back-to-back test with the laptops, we're in the mid-800s, which is good to know, and the results are consistent, which is good to know. Then we enabled routing with the actual box, and if you can see here, it's just Ethernet 2 and 3, and routing is automatically done between these two ports once you give them an IP. So there's not really much to do, right? You just kind of configure those two ports and then you routing through the box. So what's our results now? Well, now we're in the mid 400s. So back to back, mid 800s. Through the box with routing, we got 450-ish, we'll just call it that. Then we enable NAT on the box because the customer uses NAT, network address translation, and all you do there is you pick your outbound interface, choose this masquerade option, and say all protocols. Once you do that, you're NATing. From there, you can see the upload and download. Off you go. You got, I'm going to say high 300s. So again, little review. We had mid 800s back to back. We had mid 400s with routing, and now we have high 300s with NATing. So now we know what the throughput is based on that configuration. And then as you do more stuff like deep packet inspection and all that cool stuff, you're going to see that performance may be affected as well. It probably will be. It's just a matter of how much. And in this case, we wanted to make sure it went through a 100 meg link. And again, we have high 300, so it's going to service this guy pretty good. That's it. Have a good day. Bye for now.